Okay, so I'm going to go over Acts chapter 10 and explain what it's actually about, because this is the go-to verse, or chapter, I should say, for what a lot of people use to justify why they're eating not according to the dietary laws that God gives us in Leviticus chapter 11, Deuteronomy 14, and other spots. But this is going to address why we still cannot be eating pork, shellfish, and everything else that God tells us not to eat that is from unclean animals. So I'm going to start Acts chapter 10, verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. He saw in a vision evidently about the ninth hour of the day an angel of God coming in to him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before God. And now send men to Joppa, and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodged with one Simon a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called two of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. Okay, so this is the context of the vision. There is a Gentile, someone from another nation, who is going to come to Peter, and then you're going to see this vision that Peter gets because of it, and this is the context of it. So people use verses 9 to 16, but let's read the whole thing. So 9 to 16. On the morrow, as they went on their journey, and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the house to pray about the sixth hour. And he became very hungry, and he would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven opened and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts and creeping things, and fowls of the air, so unclean animals included. Verse 13, And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. So what most people will do is they'll stop there and just read that and be like, oh, look, we can eat unclean animals now. No, continue going. Verse 17. Now, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, three men seek thee. So while he's thinking about this vision, these men appear, and this is what the vision is about. Verse 20, Arise, therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by a holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in, and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet, and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, and this is the important part, Peter interprets his vision for you right here. Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God hath shewed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. There you go. That's what the vision is about. Don't have a wicked heart of disobedience that tries to make this into something other than what it is about. You keep going, and it makes it even more clear. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying, as soon as I was sent for. I ask therefore for what intent ye have sent for me. And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour, and at the ninth hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thine alms are had in remembrance in the sight of God. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of one Simon a tanner by the seaside, who, when he cometh, shall speak unto thee. Immediately therefore I sent to thee, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things that are commanded thee of God. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted before God. So there you go. That's what the vision is about. It's about all men being able to receive repentance. So you can even go to chapter 11 and they ask him, Why did you go and hang with the Gentiles? And he says, Well, I got this vision. And that's what it's about. You use this vision to show people that you call no man common or unclean. So anyone that wants to say, Oh, only a certain race of people can be saved, you show them this chapter. That's what this vision is about. And now I'm going to show this because what people like to do is after you show them the interpretation, they like to go back and say, oh, but look, go back to verses 9 to 10. He says, rise, Peter, kill and eat. Like you just, what was the point of me even explaining that if you're just going to pretend like I didn't even say it? You know, so don't be one of those people. Like, that's a wicked heart of disobedience. That's someone who has little faith. If you want to go back and completely ignore how Peter interprets the vision for you, some people also might say, oh, but it's about both things. Well, no, it's not about both things. I'm going to show you that this is very clearly a metaphor. When he says, rise, Peter, kill and eat, you can see other connections to this in Scripture. So I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 16. Right, I'm going to start verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into the land that I gave unto their fathers. So this is about the second Exodus that happens, um, in the future, and people are not going to tell you about this in the churches. Ask yourself why that is, but Verse 16, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. So there you go. Rise, Peter, kill and eat. Well, he's going to send many fishers and many hunters to go find his people. Yes, this is about men. When he says, rise, Peter, kill and eat, oh, that can't possibly be talking about men. Yes, it is. This is a metaphor and it's biblical. It's like people don't even read the Gospels. They just, hear whatever they want to see, hadn't have selective hearing. This is Mark 1, verse 17. And Yeshua said unto them, Come ye after me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. Okay, it's really simple. It's a metaphor. It's not literally saying to go eat unclean animals and that he's made everything clean. That's not what that vision is about. And to prove that, I'm going to show you Isaiah 66. And this is why it absolutely cannot be making all animals clean to eat now. So Isaiah 66, verse 15, this is the end. This is end days prophecy. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, so everybody, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So people eating swine's flesh, they are going to be destroyed in the tribulation. So it makes no sense that God would be doing this if he made everything clean. So the vision was a metaphor. And to prove with one more example, we're going to go to Revelation 18. So if we're not supposed to literally call any animal common or unclean, you have to ask yourself this question. Revelation 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So if it's such a huge issue, God shows him a vision 3 times. Do not call any um, animal unclean, if that's what it's really about, why is John right here, when writing the book of Revelation, calling animals unclean? So ask yourself that and give me an answer to this. Otherwise, stop saying that you can eat pork and shellfish. Answer why God is going to come and slay all eaters of swine's flesh in the tribulation. Okay, these are questions that are not going to be answered. The Acts 10 vision is not about literal animals, it's about men. So stop being of little faith. Do not have a wicked, disobedient heart. Actually obey God's dietary laws. It's not hard. Okay? It's not hard to give up pork for God. Don't be a lover of pleasure more than a lover of God, because He gave you so many things, and you just throw that all away. You throw away your chance in the kingdom so you can eat some bacon. Like, just get turkey bacon. It's not hard. Like, His commandments are not grievous. This is really something that's ridiculous that we really even have to argue about. But